Okay, so there I go. I'm in macro mode, and all I have to do is move it back and forth, get it focused. So let's go to my favorite part. Look at that. This is why I like the Zeiss lens. So the IRIX 150mm does not have the controls like for the aperture. Okay, so you need a lens for this adapter to have controls for the aperture. But look at that. Incredible, right? And this is in video. I just took a few shots. I'll try another lens out. But look, it's just gorgeous. And then if I back up, and there you have it. See? Now, I'm at 1/60th of a shutter speed. I'm sorry, 1/60th of the shutter speed, and then 160 ISO. So it's pretty high. But anyway, it's kind of bright. I'm going to put it on auto ISO and see what happens. Okay, so it's down to 160. All right, so that should be a little bit better. But you see, everything is blown out. So watch what happens when I mess with the aperture. Okay, look at that. So the aperture ring is working on this lens. Let me get in the shade. So it's real dark right now. And you see, I can bring it up. And then I can get real close and do the macro. Then I have to do the aperture also. Get real close. Look at that. This is 1:1, by the way, folks. Isn't that awesome? I'll go out here. It's kind of bright, but still, I'm about 1 inch away. Let's see, I thought I saw an ant. No, it was a fly. But go back with this lens, okay? So I think it's in focus. All right. Now I put it back in neutral. I'm going to deal with the. I'm going to put it at 5.6. Okay. Now all I have to deal with is the focus. And see, it's still kind of bright. So let's go to f16. That's a little bit better, right? Let's go all the way to f22. Now you never trust the LCD screen, folks, but still, this might be a little bit too dark in the shade, okay? So I'm going to bring it back a little bit to, let's see, let's do f11. Okay? Still, I think it's a little bit too bright. It's in neutral. I like the landscape. But you see, it's kind of dark. And, folks, this is 50mm. Okay? So at 2.7 crop, 170? No, it's 130. 150. I don't know. I think it's 130. But still, can't beat it. And I'm holding it under the lens. I am not holding it from the camera. I mean, I have one thumb on the camera, but you see, that's the only thing with the crop on a full sensor lens. You get that magnification. So let me try another lens that's supposed to be wider. and it might be easier. Okay, I got to show you this. I'm at 160 the shutter speed, ISO 160, 1080p 60. So the problem with the G lenses, or lenses that don't have an aperture, that have autofocus capability, is having a hard time with this adapter because there's no contacts to communicate with the camera. Okay? That's the problem with adapters. You need contacts. That's why you buy the Leica M to Leica L, because they have contacts and it tells the information. Even if it's still a manual focus lens, it tells you what lens it is, the aperture, all that stuff. Same thing with Nikon. Nikon F to Z. They have the contacts with the adapter and you just set it accordingly. So right now she looks fine because she's in the sun, okay? But if I go in the shade, it's a different story. So I would have to increase the ISO. The problem is that the exposure, see, now it's almost to zero when I go right here, okay? But when I go up to the fence, it's now like a minus. That's the problem with lenses that don't have an aperture control on there. And you see, I don't know if it's autofocusing or not, because no, it's manual. And like I said, you got to have the contacts for it to make it work. So I've been messing with this. It's not moving, so I just have to move back and forth, something like this, see, to get it in focus. So that's the end of this 50mm f1.4G. Let me try something else. So I'm at f2 with the Milvus Distagon and manual focus. But look at that. So the ISO is at 160. It needs to be higher. See, if I increase the shutter speed, so if I go outside, it's all right. But you see, this lens works, okay? I'm outside, and you see, I can make it focus. So I'll bring it to f8, okay? See how sharp this is? And this is a 35mm. That's the difference. You need an aperture ring on these adapters so it can adjust the light into the camera, since it has no contacts for information. And I'll just bring it down here just to show an example. Okay, so let me focus. Look at that. Simple turn. Okay, see how the focus that is? And then I can go at higher aperture, or lower I should say. This is f22. Okay, it's locked in place, so then I go to f16. So when you use this, you have to go and lock it at f22 for it to recognize. But this is an excellent lens. 16, 11, f8. You see, it's kind of getting bright. And of course I can focus right here. So let's go to my favorite plant. Remember, this is 35mm. Now watch. See how easy it is? So with the right aperture control and manual focus, you should have no problem. And this is video, folks. And this is what you need. So if you're going to use an adapter, you need an aperture ring, like Leica M lenses have, or Nikon, the old type, and the well, it's the aperture control ring and manual focus. Okay, let me take some pictures. Okay, just something to tell you. What I'm trying to explain is when you do a G lens that only has focus, it's supposed to be autofocus or manual, okay? It still needs an aperture ring because the problem is the f-stop. There's no way to control these two lenses, which are fantastic, on the f-stop. So you see, it's just manual focus. No aperture, just, focusing. These lenses, with this adapter, see there's no contacts, okay, to send information to the camera like it does on this one. This is a native lens. Contacts, contacts. This is what I'm talking about, okay? So autofocus, all that stuff. But I had this mount on this camera, and it's very hard also to focus with just the LCD screen when it's bright outside or whatever. But these lenses passed. Why? Well, you got an f-stop right here, and you got a focus ring right here. Well, actually, it's or the aperture, I should say aperture, okay? And then this is for manual focusing. Here's my Milvus, same thing, okay? This is what you need. And it locks itself in. On the F-mount, it locks in. You leave it at 22. And with the contacts, see there's no contacts on this either. But it's weather sealed very excellently, okay? That's the difference with the older type of lenses, the AI lenses. But see, here's another one. So it gives you the meters and distance to focus on. And then here's the aperture. Same thing with the Zeiss, okay? So, and then this, of course, is one of my favorites. The 180 millimeter. That, the 150 millimeter, or I'm sorry, the 105 millimeter is great. For the Nikon F mount, this is great too. But anyway, that's what I just wanted to share. That's the problem with having some lenses that work, some lenses that don't work with a camera. You just got to experiment and see what works. So you saw the macro. The only problem is when you put a 2.7 crop magnification on a lens for a full frame, then you're going to get 135 millimeters, okay? Plenty. But anyway, thank you for watching. This is just part one. Part two, I'll finish off the videos and show you a little bit of the slideshow of the problems I was having. And I hope that this is helpful for you to kind of teach you what the old ways, what the photographers had to go through with the manual. You have it easy now with autofocus and everything set on the camera. You just turn it on, let the camera do its thing. This is the old way, and it works. The only thing is this is doesn't have an EVF, and it's hard to focus. Okay, you have to get it just right. So thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling. I'll see you part two. Bye, folks.